Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Raw. This program has been brought to you by THQ, and you know what, folks? It's time. It's time for the World Wrestling Federation the World Wrestling Federation Championship match, and I'm only turning it down so that the music doesn't overpower me, but everybody else in the arena can hear it perfectly, but I'm just gonna say, look at the cold stare in the Undertaker's eyes as he walks down to the ring, cold and calculating. This is a man who has done many things that would question, how do I put this? He has done things that would otherwise question one to think that The Undertaker is without a doubt the evilest person out there. Like, he's done things that most human beings don't have the capability of doing. In other words, he has done things that most people would have remorse about. But here's a guy that seldomly ever has remorse for whatever he has done, for better or for worse, depending on who you ask. But for The Undertaker, he has done what he has to do to succeed in the business, and in his case, become the World Wrestling Federation champion. I mean, he won it in a triple threat ladder match. And he did what he had to do. He had to hurt people, and he had to do what he had to do. That's all I have to say about it. But of course, one of the people that he hurt was this guy. He is the winner of the 1998 Veterans Day Memorial Rumble. Not only did he get a free meal, but he got himself a World Wrestling Federation Championship match against The Undertaker, of all people. And for Bowser, it has been since 1994 that he has been the World Wrestling Federation Champion, or as it was known at the time as simply the World Heavyweight Championship. But it's the same belt, different name, but otherwise Bowser is hungry. Bowser is hungry to become the World Wrestling Federation Champion again. So for Bowser, he does not have to worry about Mario or Luigi or anybody. All he has in front of him is the one person that can stand toe-to-toe with him, and that is The Undertaker. The Undertaker, he spent quite a long time trying to become the tag team champion, but to no avail, and it's not for the lack of trying, but now that he is eliminated from the tournament, now all he has to do is focus on the task at hand, and that is to try to slay the monster known as Bowser. And we're off. And a hip toss onto The Undertaker. So these two big bulls are going to go right at each other. It's going to come down to who has the endurance to withstand the pain. We know that these two guys are tough. We know that these two guys are strong. But who's going to tire out? That's what's going to happen. And there is one stipulation in this matchup I almost forgot to mention, and that is, it is a submission match. As I'm surprised Undertaker had the strength to pick up Bowser, but then again, he's The Undertaker. I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody, really. Let me turn it up a little bit. But anyways, it's a submission match, so it all comes down to who can make whom submit. And both these men have only 15 minutes in which to do so. as Bowser is choking out the Undertaker with that rope. And he just pulled him back. So these two men don't have a lot of time. So you can win the match by submission. You cannot win by pinfall. You can't be disqualified, but you can be counted out. If a count out happens, then it depends on who got counted out and whether or not it was intentional. But right now, Bowser has a shoulder, a claw on the shoulder of the Undertaker, but Undertaker got out of it, though. Then a DDT onto Bowser. So Bowser had the right idea, but Undertaker got out of it. Whipped into the corner is Bowser. Ooh, then a kick right to the leg of the Undertaker. And some back elbows onto Bowser. Oh, and a clubbing blow from behind. And Undertaker is ready. I mean, you can tell that Undertaker is ready for anything and anybody. Even a man, if you can even call him that, the size and strength and power of Bowser. And a scoop slam with the arm tucked underneath. If he can work on the arm, I think he might have a chance. Does Bowser. I mean, yeah, Bowser is a big, strong guy, but he is not a submission artist. He's not known to make people submit, but he can do it. He's capable of doing it. But that's easier said than done when you're taking on the Undertaker. Undertaker. A super arm wringer flip onto the Undertaker. And now a chop block onto the legs of the Undertaker by Bowser. I mean, Bowser's doing the smart thing. I mean, he knows he cannot... I mean, he can outpower him all he wants, but that's not going to get the job done. He's got to work on the Undertaker before going for a submission. But what a feather in the cap it would be for Bowser to be able to become a two-time world champion. But it's going to have to come at the expense of the Undertaker, as he just rammed him shoulder first into the post. And Bowser just shoved him off. Oh my god, a back body drop on a Bowser. Not very many men can do that. And oh, and a claw right to the eye. I mean, then again, he has those claws. I mean, one thing as far as Bowser's concerned... Oh, wait a minute. A Boston Crab on a Bowser. I mean, Bowser's big and strong, but I don't know if he can last that long in a move like this. And he is trapped. But can Bowser get out of it? I mean, Bowser's in there tight, or he's got that move on Bowser in tight. And Bowser tapped out. I mean, that tells you something about the Undertaker to be able to do that to Bowser. And unfortunately for Bowser, his dream did not come true. For Undertaker has broken his dreams. And he might have broken his back too. But he did what he had to do to remain the World Wrestling Federation champion. But folks, up next is for the Tag Team Championships of the world. We will crown a new champion, or champions, I should say, right after this. But congratulations to The Undertaker for the victory.